Okie doke. So, welcome to everybody. This is a What Works webinar based on our part of our What Works series. And today we're going to be looking at utilising working with an enterprise advisor, also known as an EA. This is going to be a recorded webinar. So, feel free to turn your screens off if you don't want to be seen. And this will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel and be available on our website. We quite often call enterprise advisors EAs as well. So if you hear that term a lot, EAs, that's what we're referring to, enterprise advisors. Okay, so today we're just going to do an overview of the role of an enterprise advisor and some examples of some EA work and some projects that are currently running in West Essex. We've got Donna and Stephen who are going to be talking about their roles with their being careers lead and an EA at the work that they do at Roding Valley High School. And then we've got Viv from Epping St John, who's a careers lead, and she has an EA who's also a pupil parent. So she's going to talk to us about what that's like working with a pupil parent and how that can be beneficial for the school. And then we'll have chance for any Q&As if we've got any. And then I've just got some final points to take away from today. So what is an enterprise advisor? They are the bedrock of the Careers Hub and CEC. They are the people that we get to help do our job. They bridge that gap between industry and education. So they're business professionals. They come from any industry, sector and professional background. So we've got a wealth of different people from lots of different industries and loads of different skills and experiences. And they're dedicated to making a lasting impact on the future and outcomes of young people. They're volunteering their time to achieve positive change in schools and colleges. There's two main types of enterprise advisors, static and agile. So a static EA, there's different two ways that you can work. A static EA is sort of a long-term partnership with a school or work in an agile way, which is more delivering a project to a school, but it might be over across a number of schools. So it could be a mentoring program that's running that might run in autumn term in one school and then move on to another school to run the same project again, but in a different school. So there's different types of EAs. The two enterprise advisors that we're focusing on today are both static. So they've got that long-term relationship with a school. So if anybody watching this is interested in becoming an EA, it's something to consider if you would want to be a static or an agile EA, if you want that long-term relationship with one school, or if you're more interested in a project-based approach. Some examples of projects that we've got currently running. These are just in West Essex alone. So we've got a mentoring project running, young entrepreneurship project running in Utlisford, and that is being run by an enterprise advisor from Utlisford District Council. So they're working with sixth form students over the academic year, where they're going to be helping young people with the skills to become a young entrepreneur. So they're going to learn how to sell at a market. They're going to learn the idea of branding. I think they've even got a session booked for learning how to sell on TikTok. So that's been delivered by an EA at Uttlesford. We've got some more sort of smaller mentoring projects which are focused on, I've got two different EAs running those. So I've got one that's running a Females into Finance project because she's really passionate about more young girls taking up maths at FE. And I've got Females in Construction and Engineering project. So I've got an enterprise advisor from a construction company that wants to try and boost the number of young girls going into construction and engineering. So she's going to be running a project in a school there. An apprenticeship awareness project. So I've got an enterprise advisor who's really passionate about apprenticeships. So he's organising. So he's not delivering the project. He's not delivering the assemblies himself, but he's helping find current apprentices who are going into schools to talk about their story and talk about what it's like to be an apprentice. also an enterprise advisor who's similar sort of thing, but they're going to help arrange an employer engagement panel. So getting some employers in the local area and some apprentices actually to go and do sort of an assembly workshop type thing, but that's going to be targeting year 8 students, where they can speak to a number of people on a panel and have that sort of forward and back Q&A. So it just takes the work off the careers lead, helps them put more things into place. Another one of our EAs is supporting careers lead with finding work experience places. So she knows the local area really well. She's got lots of links with local businesses and a really big network. So she's helping a careers lead gain more work experience placements for their students. And then I've got a careers lead that is needing more support with their own CPD. So I've got an EA that's going to be working with a school to help the careers lead with their CPD. They're wanting to upskill themselves to become an IAG qualified advisor. So we've got an enterprise advisor that can help with the careers lead. So it doesn't just have to be helping with students, and it can help the careers lead as well, whatever it is that the skills lie in. And then I've got an EA who's a whiz with social media and LinkedIn. So she's going to be working with a school on their social media presence and how they can use social media and LinkedIn to get local businesses and to help track alumni. So that's just some examples of some projects that we've got running in West Essex. These have all come into place probably only in the last 6 months. So they're all quite new. They've started running this academic year. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be able to really measure the impact of those projects. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Donna and Stephen, if that's okay, to talk to you a little bit about the EA relationship at Roding Valley High School.
Are you going to put our slides up, Carly?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Donna.
So I'm Donna Mason. I am the careers lead at Roding Valley. I've been here for a very long time. I think it will be 21 years in 2025. So been in this particular role itself for 15 years. And Stephen came to volunteer as an EA with Roding Valley way back in 2018. He was introduced to me from the enterprise coordinator, the same as Carly's role was back in 2018, and he began working with us then. And he's helped out with a huge amount of stuff at Roding Valley. It's been really beneficial for us. Next slide, please, Carly.
Shall I just introduce myself a bit, Donna, and just give us some background in terms of... Yeah, no, it's actually more talking to you otherwise. So God, has it been that long, Donna? I didn't realise. So my background is I'm joint CEO now of an organisation called the Institute of Student Employers. So I'm probably a bit different to some EAs because I'm not sort of a local employer stroke recruiter to Roding Valley, although I do live in Essex, and I've had... Well, we have got strong links with the Careers and Enterprise company, and I always said I was keen to get more involved, so that's how it came out. And Roding Valley was the second school that I was partnered with. The first school I was partnered with didn't have anybody like Donna, so we just didn't get anything going, so it didn't really work. I won't name and shame them. I've been working with Donna, and my background is before the ISE, I used to run student recruitment for EY, bigger professional services firm, so I come from that employer recruitment background.
So this just gives you an idea of how we work together. So Stephen's expertise is in student recruitment, and the data that he provides the school is fantastic. So he shares that annually. He comes to the sixth form information evening, and we've done that in a variety of different ways. This year we did it slightly different, didn't we, Stephen? We did it so that parents could come in, and we did it on a rotational basis. So it was like a workshop. So parents actually got to choose which workshops they wanted to go to. And I think out of all of them, mine and Stephen's were very popular. I was talking about apprenticeships and Stephen was talking about the statistics in graduate and student recruitment and LMI and the skills that students need. So he annually gets together in that, and what I would say is even during the COVID years, Stephen shared videos with us so that I could still share it with parents and students during COVID when nobody was in school. So they still got all of these updates all of the time, and that was really good for us and for the parents and for the students actually. He comes to our annual careers fair, and in the past, again, we run things differently each year, but in the past, our annual careers fair is a consortium event that Viv is part of the organisation of, because it's the 6 Epping Forest schools and the local college that join together. So Stephen was sharing all of his information on those evenings with all of the parents in the Epping Forest district area. So what I like is the flexibility of what Stephen offers. It also has an effect on everybody else in the area as well when he attends these events. Mock interviews every day. Stephen comes along and shares my mock interview day. I do that for all of year 10, and we get through around about 240 interviews in one day. So valuable there for him to join in for that. And he's also come in and done staff training here for the teachers and the staff at the school, just to give them an update on LMI and student recruitment and what's going on. So he has worked an awful lot with me. He sits with me when I've written the careers policy in the past and given me some good information and guidance on that. Can you think of anything else, Stephen?
I think that's just about covered it. Because Donna does such a strong job at Roding Valley, and as she said, has been there for a long time. What I haven't had to do really is well, you've got a really thoroughly embedded strategy, so I've been able to sort of help with that. But I've not had to really help you get employers along, have I? So I have been able to take part in mock interviews. Also, because of my day job, a lot of what we do is market analysis and market research. So I've been able to bring that into some of the work that I do, that I think works for both students and also for parents, helping their students make decisions. Because it's worth saying, the ISE and my previous jobs did always used to be focused on graduates. So the ISE used to be called the AGR, the Association of Graduate Recruiters, been around for about 50 years. But we changed the name because employers, as most of you will know, are also looking at apprenticeships now, and that kind of school leaver route has become more commonly used by employers. So employers that didn't used to care about schools, really, that didn't get involved, more of them are. I mean, there's still, as we all know, there's a lot more to do. But actually, it's that employer engagement that has fueled some of my work, which I like to think I've been able to sort of bring along to Donna, the parents, the pupils, and also generally, as Donna said, some of those staff sessions helping, I guess, just helping everybody understand a bit more where employers are coming from, why they're engaging with schools, how the labour market's changing. As I said, my background is professional services, accountancy firms, and they're a good snapshot, I guess, of how the world of talent's changed. Most of the big accountancy firms do recruit school leaver apprentices. Now, you don't have to come through the graduate route. There's 3 or 4 different routes you can take into that sector alone. So I think it's helping demystify that a little bit that we've been able to do.
So the impact that it's made for us here, it's obviously great for my CPD, all of the market trends, the labour market information, all the advice that Stephen's given me. That helps me achieve the Gatsby 8, because obviously I'm passing that information on to parents and students all the time. Attending conferences and networking with the employers. When Stephen invites me to any of the conferences, I go along and I meet new people, and again, that's been it's enabled me to pass those contacts on to students and develop what I know about those companies as well. And again, with his advice and guidance, the skills, because obviously more and more employers are seeking skills. It's high on the government agenda for students to learn skills and have skills. And I think that drove me to really include skills in my weekly lessons for the school, because I do a weekly careers lesson for the school. And I think that's helped me to maintain all the different types of skills that they need to know. We've tried a variety of different programs, and we've also included it now in their personal development. So I think from that aspect, it's been really good. And I've just really enjoyed working with him. It's really nice to work with somebody that wants to make such a contribution and actually really helps me.
Yeah, no, I think that's reciprocated as well. Well, it's definitely reciprocated, you know, thinking about it, because it's I get quite a lot back from it as well, which is actually, you know, I didn't have much experience previously of working with schools apart from being a parent. So actually, Donna's been really good at helping me understand how careers work within schools and what the challenges are and how employers can engage and how they should get more involved. So actually, I've been able to use some of that kind of knowledge and insights that I've had back into the day job, which has been helping other employers understand, because employers, a lot of them, they struggle with the school sector because if they're used to dealing with universities, that's dealing with a much smaller number of organizations, and they tend to have, you know, bigger infrastructure, whereas actually when it comes to schools, a lot of them are still, you know, really confused about the way it's worked. So yes, that definitely that professional knowledge coming back has been really helpful. And I've even wrote Donna in, I've wrote you into doing a couple of webinars for us, haven't I, over time, which you've been great on.
Is that part of the deal, is it, Donna?
Yeah, it's what's worked. I think it is a two-way professional relationship. It's worked really well for Stephen and I, you know, and always and that's my key to everything. Whenever I'm engaging with anybody, it's thank you for helping me. What can I do for you? And I think if you've got that, people tend to come back. And we've got quite a big employer engagement here. And like you mentioned earlier, one of the other EAs who's working within a school in Essex to support with LinkedIn, that's how I've been running my alumni for some time. And that works for me because then any year 13 students that we don't scoop into, maybe getting employment in the first year before they leave or as they leave, they're still connected with me on LinkedIn and they can still reach out to me and I can still be reposting jobs for them. So running your alumni on LinkedIn really helps them. And I think that's another really, you know, a nice opportunity to get involved with a school if you want to. If there's a school that hasn't got that up and running, I think that's quite a nice project for an EA to support with.
Yeah, thank you for that, Donna. It's nice to hear that from a careers lead point of view, because I do say a lot to careers leads, like LinkedIn for local businesses to reach out to employers, alumni. It's all there. So yeah, I always, if you haven't followed Donna on LinkedIn and you're watching this, give her a follow, because what she's doing there is outstanding work. Right, if I could hand over to Viv from Epping St John's School. Now, Viv, I know you've not got slides, but I think you've got
no, I was going to say that Kate just left me to talk. I think that was her punishment as her EA role. Basically, like Donna, I've been at St John's mine will be 18 years next year. So obviously over that time I've seen lots of different things happen. Many cases the wheel being reinvented. But when the Greater Essex Careers Hub came along, I thought this is a new thing to be involved in. The school took part, and if I'm honest, to begin with, I didn't really understand what the role of an EA was going to be. And very fortunate for me, Katie came along and volunteered, and she's been absolutely brilliant from many points of view. So initially, Katie came, and being a parent as well, came to help me with things such as she'd volunteer for mock interviews. She's been very good at doing, if I contact her and say, I've got a sixth form student who's got an interview for teaching or for nursing or paramedics, whatever it is, can you come in before their actual official interview with the university? She will come in, spend a good amount of time with them, asking them questions, talking to them, giving advice. And then after the session, she will email me all the questions she spoke to them about and some feedback on what they can perhaps improve on. So she's been invaluable for things like that. She comes in, as I say, and helps on other activities that we run during the school. But the most important thing, I think, is coming from a parent, I get to actually find out what the parents want, what they actually feel about their careers. So at the end of the year, Katie and I will actually sit down together and review my careers plan for the year. And she puts suggestions in on perhaps ways that we can improve it for next year. If there's ideas she's got, she will contact me and say, oh, I've got a company that can do X, Y, and Z. You know, what would you like me to do? So she's really proactive in helping set up, whether it's meetings. She's also done things like helped us build relationships with the local companies in the community. We've written to them, we've asked them for their support. So I think it's possibly given me the confidence to actually go out and ask for help rather than rely on the same people all the time for the same things. One of the big things she's done for me, as well as give me feedback on sort of, you know, the careers from a parent's point of view, she's encouraged me to actually reach out to the parents more. So I would say over the past 6 months, we have had so many parents that once we've said to them, would you like to come in for mock interviews? Would you like to come in and help in practice interviews? We've asked them to come in and help with employer days. They're coming out of the woodwork. I've never experienced anything like I have in the past 6 months. We did interviews just before we broke up for half term, and basically I didn't have to go to a single one of my new or semi-regular contacts because I had so many parents from different companies that were willing to give up their time to help. And in fact, I was at the stage where I hadn't got enough students to actually fill all the interview slots they were offering. So I was having to go back and say, thank you so much. However, can I use you later on in the year? So that gave me the confidence to think, well, actually, if I don't ask, I might not get. So now if I'm running anything, regardless of what it is, I will send out a whole school email to parents asking for support. And I wouldn't have been able, I wouldn't have perhaps had the confidence to do that if it wasn't for Katie saying to me, parents want to get involved, parents want to see what you're doing. So that's been a really important thing. We also have a parent carer forum once a term, and she's encouraged me to ask that I can actually go and do one of those sessions completely on careers, so that the parents can actually see, although I send out the information, they can actually ask questions, they can actually see what we're doing. So as I say, from that point of view, it's been, you know, really helpful. One other thing Katie will do is if I'm struggling on perhaps one of the benchmarks, so for example, sometimes, and I know that Gatsby have just changed some of these yesterday, but for example, one of the things when we were doing the Compass Plus, we might fall slightly down on was getting what they called meaningful encounters with employers lower down the school. Now, Katie's quite good in the fact that she'll say to me, oh, I've got, for example, a group of accountants who will be happy to do something via Teams to a whole year group. And obviously, then when you look at the criteria, it was like, well, that's not exactly meaningful. So hence, how do we go about that? So I'm hoping now being able to use things like that going forward, we're going to be able to sort of like tick some of those boxes, if you like. So she's really good at, you know, making suggestions, or if I'm struggling to get sort of somebody to come into the lower school about apprenticeships, she'll say, well, how about, have you tried this? So as I say, I think it's just having somebody that's proactive. And to be honest, it's nice to have somebody else to bounce ideas off, because senior leaders of the school quite often haven't got that time, or perhaps don't appreciate what goes on in careers as well as we do. And I think it's just really important for careers to be seen as a whole school thing now. And I really do think that Katie's helped with that.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Viv. It's worth noting as well that Katie often joins when we do compass assessments, doesn't she? So
Yes, she does. Yeah.
there and then, as we're filling in the compass assessment, she can say, oh, I've got an idea for that. And so we give her action points from compass assessment meetings as well, which I think is great practice as well. It's really great that so she fully understands how careers are sort of embedded at the school and what she can do to sort of help plug any gaps that there might be.
Yeah.
Right, so just some takeaway points. This is mainly aimed at any careers leads. So EAs can be student facing or they can work with the careers lead. There's no set way. So it depends on the EA and their skills and their background. Some are super keen to work directly with the students and some are best placed to be working with the careers lead. Some like to do a mixture of both. So there isn't a set way that EAs can work. EAs are not there for sort of a one-off and ad hoc visit. If that's what you're looking for, that's an industry champion. And those two roles quite often do get mixed up. So if, for example, you want somebody to come and join in at mock interviews, that's fine. That's an industry champion. That's them just coming along, seeing them once for their mock interviews and off they go. If they were to help you arrange the mock interviews, if they're helping get employers, if they're doing other work over time, then that's the role of an EA. So quite often there can be a bit of a confusion between the two roles. You can request the support of an industry champion on our website. So if you do have an event coming up where you're thinking, oh, I could do with somebody just for that event, not necessarily an EA, I just want them to come and help me just for that one-off event, then that is the role of an industry champion. Look at recent compass assessments. That's sort of a top tip, like I just sort of touched on there with Viv, that if you've done a compass assessment and you've got some gaps, have you got an EA or could you do with an EA that can help plug those gaps? If it's work experience placements or sort of building those links with industry, can we find you an EA that can help do that? And if you would like an EA and you currently don't have one, or you've got a project in mind that you would like to run, but you need that person from industry, then do speak to your enterprise coordinator, because we spent a lot of our time going around businesses, industry, talking to people and about finding out what their skills are and where they would be best placed, and if they could do any work to support schools. So if you are interested in becoming an enterprise advisor, we have a form on our website. So it's on the Greater Essex Career Hub's website, where you can sign up. What happens is you sign up on the form, then you'll chat to one of the members of the team. There's a training module that we ask you to do, and we do get all our enterprise advisors a DBS. Even if you're already on the update system, we do provide you with a DBS as well, just in case, because you're going to be working in a school. Even if your role isn't going to be student facing, we do ensure that everyone has DBS. And then once we've sort of spoken to you, when we understand what an enterprise advisor wants to get from the role, what skills they've got, where their expertise lies, then we sort of match you with a school where you think you could be a good fit. And that's generally the process that we follow. And then, are there any questions or anything we can help with at all? I can only sort of see my screen. So if there's anybody, take yourself off mute and go for it, because I can't see anybody. Anyone at all? I think we're okie dokie. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll stop there. I do just want to say thank you so much to Viv, Stephen and Donna for sharing what's going on in your schools, and especially Stephen for sharing what it's like to be an enterprise advisor. That's amazing. It's great to hear firsthand what's actually going on in schools, rather than me just tell people what I think is happening. It's nice to hear it from people that are actually there on the front line doing it. So thank you ever so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you.